We were very lucky to have two guys that care so much about Georgia. Matt DeBerry, that was Kirby Smart talking about his quarterbacks. They care about the team, and that's what I care about.
Yeah, I think it's a great quote because as we've seen, there are a lot of quarterbacks who don't care about their team and they're looking out for themselves. And that's not what we're seeing from Gunnar Stockton and Ryan Puglisi. Quick story during media day, right before the Sugar Bowl, I was talking to Puglisi, asking him, what he's learned from Mike Bobo and Gunnar Stockton. And he just lit up talking about Gunnar specifically and what he's learned from him and the leader that he is and how much he cares about this team. And I know Ryan feels the same way. It's easy to rally around your quarterback when the quarterback loves the team this much. And that's exactly how you win over Kirby Smart. There's a reason, the team last year loved Gunnar Stockton. There's a reason Kirby Smart loves Gunnar Stockton. And it's because he does care about this team and this program, and he cares about his teammates and wants everyone to succeed. They're not me guys, they're we guys. And I know that's stupid and cliche, but with these quarterbacks, it's the truth. And they go out and they practice hard and they compete and they make everyone better. And there are not a lot of quarterbacks out there who, look at the team that way and are practicing that way and care as much as these guys do, Ryan.
Yeah, and especially with Gunnar Stockton, and that's what you hear from everybody inside the program. But yeah, he's got two players that want to be at Georgia, and that's that quote came out of someone asking him about Nico Iamaleava and the situation at Tennessee. That was his response to that, was saying that they had two guys that care about Georgia. That is one of the first things that he's looking for when he's going out and recruiting players to come to Athens and to be a part of this program. It matters a lot. They are not going to shy away from saying goodbye or, we're not going to take you. If there is an element of me instead of we, I don't think, it is a cliche, Matt, but it's a true one when you are talking about these guys. They're robots when it comes to these press conferences and when it comes to talking to us. And that's what Kirby is building in a lab. That would be his ideal situation if he's building these guys in a lab for how they're going to communicate about this team. It's just about getting better, and it's about Georgia, and it's about just moving forward. And that's all these guys have to say. They have the robotic answers, and you kind of believe it with them a little bit, and that's there. So I think, it's going to be Gunnar, right? That's what everything is telling us so far. But if it is Puglisi, I don't think that you're getting some young kid that, just all he cares about is himself if he ends up starting at some point this year or in the future. But, we saw it with I don't think Georgia was heartbroken when Raiola picked Nebraska and there was a little bit of drama in there. And then you get an offseason like you had with this one, and Carson Beck is, I don't know if he's demanding a lot of money or is just testing the market, but it's okay. Goodbye. We've got our guys that want to be here. They're not heartbroken over missing out on players like that.
Well, I've got your attention. Check out the link down below from our good friends at BetMGM. Use the promo code MEGABET, MEGABET, to get a chance of up to $1,500 on bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. The link is right down below. You can bet on any number of things. Futures for the NFL, futures for college football. They got baseball betting, all sorts of things that you can have fun with. Let's be responsible about it. Don't miss out on this. It's a really cool thing. Again, from our buddies over at BetMGM, use the promo code MEGABET, MEGABET, get a chance for up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Check it out. Links right down below. Well, we're just in a new paradigm here because, I can't hate Carson Beck for going and getting $4 million to play for 9 months or even 6 months at Miami. I don't have a problem with that at all. But he did it when he had leverage. He could have either just gone to the NFL or gone to Miami, and he did. So what Nico did that was wrong was he waited till he had no, leverage, and they said goodbye. I do think it hurts Tennessee, Matt. I think if Gunnar Stockton were not available tomorrow for Georgia for the 2025 season, it would make it much harder for Georgia to win the national championship or whatever. The season, the expectations would be lower when it can be that these guys are not spectacular or, first round draft pick, prospects and still be very good for your program. I can't recall the kid, Will Howard at Ohio State, not a first-round guy. Michigan quarterback was. Stetson was not. Mac Jones was, amazingly. Joe Burrow was. We had a string of really good quarterbacks that were playing in national championship games. That's not always the case. And I think that part of me, Matt, I'll say this, I'm stream consciousness here. Part of me with everybody at Georgia and everywhere else is, they want someone who bleeds red and black and all this stuff. I mean, whatever. You want someone who wins games. And, these guys are having to live every single day. They're more Georgia than you are because they're getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and all that stuff. They're going through the physical and mental challenges that it is playing at Georgia at quarterback and all these other positions. But for all of the pom-pom waving from the Georgia faithful about Gunnar Stockton, which is great, like they're not crapping on him like they did Stetson Bennett for such a long period of time. And I can assure you, Stetson was never committed to South Carolina. Like, he was a Georgia kid the whole time. But when he did not perform, people had their fangs out. I wonder if I'm certain the same thing will happen to Gunnar. So I think for Gunnar Stockton, Matt, all this is it's cool that, you have cows, and it's cool that you're from Northeast Georgia, and all these, you're the quiet type. But if he doesn't perform, people are going to be out to get him. And that's just reality. I mean, the game doesn't change because the quarterback is a likable person. You have to produce.
Yeah, I think a lot of Georgia fans wanted to see Gunnar Stockton midway through the season when Carson Beck threw 3 interceptions against Texas and 3 against Florida. You turn the football over as the quarterback in Athens, Georgia, people are coming after you, right? And, just going back, to the general point, in today's world of college football, not only do you have to deal with the kid, but you got to deal with the people around him. And they can be major headaches, whether it's an agent or a crazy dad or whoever. So you're recruiting and dealing with more than just these players. And I was speaking to someone on Saturday just about Georgia recruiting in general. And they said, now more than ever, they're trying to stay away from the headaches. And sometimes a quarterback can be a headache, or his agent, his handler, his parents. There's a lot of headaches that can come with certain people. And on the recruiting trail, I think that's one factor that they've been really trying to push at is, recruiting the right kids, guys who could stay out of trouble. And if you're recruiting a headache or a possible headache, that's going to come back to haunt you. And I know that, the number 1 ranked tight end in the 26 class, a guy that Georgia really liked, who's committed to a Big Ten school now, they dropped him from the recruiting board because they thought that he could be a possible headache. And I'm saying that in the nicest way possible, or I'm trying to. But, the big picture is they're trying to kind of revamp how they're recruiting and which kids they are recruiting. Yeah, you have to be talented, but there's a certain mindset that they want to have when they are bringing these guys in, not only on the recruiting trail, but from the transfer portal. So, you know what, Ryan, it's very much a different time in a lot of aspects in college football right now, and Kirby and his staff are having to adapt in different ways.
Yeah, I think they're adapting while also trying to combat the changes at the same time. We're saying, hey, money's involved now. Egos are more involved than they ever have been. There is more about me and what can I get out of this place. But I think that they're doing as good a job as they possibly can to make things at Georgia change as little as possible when it comes to this. And they are still looking for C.J. Allen, who, tells us he doesn't care about being paid. And they're still looking for Gunnar Stockton and all that. They're going to continue to try to find those guys. I think the biggest question is, will that come at the expense of top tier talent in a few instances? And that'll be kind of where I think the adaptation may have to come if they want to win games. It's not necessarily certain, but something that could happen.
Better not become Clemson. I mean, that's what I would, and I don't get the suspicion Georgia's doing this, but I do want to warn against it. The self-congratulation about the type of player that you recruit is great and everything until you start losing. And, there's no sugarcoating this. Kirby's making $13 million a year. You got Carson Beck making $4 million down there. Georgia's almost a $200 million corporation as it relates to the athletic department. You're asking fans to go to the Sugar Bowl and pay a bunch of money, to go to Atlanta to pay a bunch of money multiple times in the season, whether it's the Clemson game, the Texas game, and this coming season, you're talking about the game with Tech. Those tickets are going to be insane. They're always having to go to Florida. Yeah, it's about money. It's been about money for a long time. And so it's all good, but, the responsibility here is for Kirby to get this done. And that's all there is to it. So the notion that you're avoiding guys, there better be a strategic reason why you're avoiding them. It can't just be, I don't like that person's attitude. I will add, however, that this is not like, there's a lot of gray here. It's not just black or white. It is challenging when you're dealing with people who do not meet your organization's vision. And when you're fighting that person all of the time, that is really hard to deal with. And it's not worth it often. But you got to win too. So this isn't, flag football. They're tackling out there. And Georgia's going to have to figure this part out. I do think that they've got two quarterback. Ryan Puglisi is very talented. If you couldn't see that Saturday, I don't know what to say to you. But he's not the starter right now to me for a reason. And I don't know if that's going to change. But you've got to make plays. And Gunner, he won the SEC championship. I don't recall a lot of plays he made against Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl, but it wasn't bad either. So he's got to go and make plays. I know I'm ranting now. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.